In 2020, Roddy Ricch was everywhere. His song The Box was one of the biggest records on the planet. It dominated the charts, took over hip-hop, and turned a young artist from Compton into one of the most talked about names in hip-hop. At 21 years old, Roddy had accomplished what most rappers spend their careers chasing: a #1 hit, a Grammy, a platinum album, the respect of the industry. It looked like Roddy Ricch was about to become one of the defining artists of his generation. But a few years later, the conversation completely changed. Fans started asking the same question: what happened to Roddy Ricch? This is the rise and fall of Roddy Ricch. Roger Quayne Moore Jr., better known as Roddy Ricch, was born on October 22nd, 1998 in Compton, California. Growing up in Compton meant being surrounded by one of the most influential places in hip-hop history. The city had produced legends, but also came with challenges that shaped Roddy's perspective and his music. Unlike many artists who immediately chased fame, Roddy spent years developing his sound quietly. He grew up listening to artists like Kendrick Lamar, Young Thug, and Future, studying how they used melodies and emotions to tell stories. Music became an outlet for him. By his teenage years, he was already recording songs and experimenting with his style. What separated Roddy from many up-and-coming artists was his ability to combine street storytelling and melodic hooks. He wasn't just rapping about where he came from. He was creating songs that connected emotionally with listeners. In 2017, Roddy released his mixtape, Feed the Streets. The project started gaining attention and showed the industry a new voice was coming out of California. But his biggest breakthrough came with the song Die Young. The track connected with fans because it showed a different side of Roddy. It wasn't just about success or money. It was about survival, loyalty, and the fear of losing everything before you get a chance to enjoy it. The song quickly spread online and introduced Roddy to a much larger audience. Suddenly, major labels and artists started paying attention. Roddy wasn't just another rapper from Compton anymore. He was becoming one of the most promising and young artists in hip-hop. After years of building momentum, Roddy Ricch was ready for the moment that would completely change his career. In December of 2019, he released his debut album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. The album showed that Roddy was just more than a one-hit wonder. It combined with emotional songs, street records, and catchy melodies that connected with millions of listeners. But one song on the album would become much bigger than anyone expected. A song that would turn Roddy Ricch into a superstar. I'm a 2020 president candidate. I done put 100 bands on Zimmerman. I've been moving real gangster, so that's why she pick a crit. Shawty call me Crisco, cause I pop my shit. In December of 2019, Roddy Ricch released a song that would completely change the direction of his career. That song was The Box. At first, nobody knew just how big the record would become, but almost immediately, something different started happening. The song caught fire on social media for the unique sound at the beginning that became instantly recognizable. Fans started using it everywhere. What started as a standout song for an album quickly became one of the biggest records in the world. The Box eventually spent weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 100, becoming one of the defining songs of 2020. Roddy Ricch went from being considered one of hip-hop's most promising new artists to one of the biggest names in music. The success wasn't just commercial. It changed how people viewed him as an artist. He wasn't just the next rapper from Compton trying to make it. He had arrived. At the height of his success, everything seemed to be moving in Roddy Ricch's favor. His debut album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, became one of the biggest rap albums of its era. He won a Grammy Award for his collaboration with Nipsey Hussle on Racks in the Middle. He was working with some of the biggest artists in the industry, and some people saw him as the future of hip-hop. The expectations became enormous, and that's where things started to become complicated. Because when artists reach the level that Roddy reached, success changes the way people judge them. A song that would be considered a huge hit for another artist suddenly becomes disappointing if it doesn't match The Box. The same success that creates a superstar can also create impossible expectations. The hardest part of becoming a superstar is proving that success isn't temporary. Hip hop history is filled with artists who had a massive breakthrough but couldn't recreate the same success. After the box, Roddy faces the challenge every rapper faces after making a career defining song. How do you follow a song that became bigger than yourself? The music industry moves incredibly fast. New artists appear every year. Sounds change, and fans move on quickly. And suddenly, the same audience that celebrates starts asking why you aren't making the same impact as before. By this point, the conversation around Roddy Ricch has completely changed. A few years earlier, people were asking, is Roddy Ricch the next superstar? Now they were asking, what happened to Roddy Ricch? But the story isn't as simple as saying he disappeared. Roddy Ricch has already achieved something most artists never will. He created a song that defined an era. He reached the highest level of success in music. The question was whether he could find his way back there. The story of Roddy Ricch is still being written. Unlike many artists who just completely disappear, Roddy is something that most rappers spend their entire career trying to build. A loyal fan base, proven talent, and a catalog that people still remember. Hip hop has always loved comeback stories. Artists like 50 Cent and Lil Wayne who show a quiet period doesn't always mean the end. Sometimes it takes one song, one album, or one moment to change everything. Roddy Ricch went from a young artist from Compton to one of the biggest rappers in the world. Whether his next chapter becomes a rise remains to be seen. For a moment, Roddy Ricch had the entire world listening.